Okay, we're live. So today we're just doing a little bit more to the map. It's going to be a fairly short stream. I've got a meeting at 4, and otherwise, yeah, just working through this list. River rocks, flowing water. So I just want to like flesh out the river, and get those bits moving, which will be fun. So the water will be kind of rippling, you know. So I need to do some animation, some programming there. Place missions and bases, yeah, so that's just easy to do. Castle flag flapping in the wind, fill out grassy area, so yeah, just fill out more of the map and basically, and here's just like a random little bug. Oh yeah, and I need to fix this that can happen if you press play too quickly, because it's like the thingy hasn't initialized yet. So we might need like a loading screen when you first load the game. And we'll might deal with that today, maybe not, but yeah, I just want to sort of do these bits. And so first is river rocks, yeah, do these bits and then move on with the go on to like do other things. Okay, so this can be like here, and we should actually be working with a width of 10, so it needs to be 1 pixel wider than it actually is. I don't know if there's some like way that Unity like fails to yeah, I think it's a better color for rocks. Because yeah, if you have a pixel touching the edge, it kind of flaps in and out as you zoom in and out, which is annoying. This case, map stones. Got a real trouble here that like everything starts with the word map. So yeah, these need to be slightly higher. I think for these small ones, it doesn't really matter. But yeah, these ought to be bigger, and since I'm changing the size, I'm gonna wanna redo the sprite editor in Unity. And so yeah, these have got their little weight to them, and yeah, I just wanted to get like a lighter stone color, 167. So I think that's a better stone color. Like we should have a universal stone color. So yeah, I'll export this out. Although I won't touch it yet. Actually, yeah, I will. I'll export this. Map stones. And then sort out the thingy in Unity. Map stones. It's the sprites. Sorry, I'm kind of lost my train of thought there. Can just do this manually. And then same for, I guess, yeah, we can export these river rocks. So the river rocks are the same, except they're going to have, no, we need to. I think if it's on both edges, actually, but yeah, that might overlap. So yeah, this needs to be wider by another 2 pixels. From the middle. And I guess we're just using the same rocks. I just want to see if this works in principle. And then we'll see if we notice that it ought to be like you wouldn't see 2 on the side of each other like that. And yeah, actually, they might have like a tail to them. I don't know, we'll see. Yeah, I'll swap this one. To one that's more vertical. So then again, we'll resize, we'll make it all the way up to 12. Just if they've got this around them, I mean, so because we sort of want to imagine that the water is like kind of making a bit of bubble as it goes around the thing, right? I don't want to have to resize it again. So then this becomes this, and let's just try that. So let's export that. Let's put this in the middle. Can't be in the middle. Can this one be in the middle? Not really, no. Okay, export. Map river stones. Done this 1,000 times now. Preset. Multiple. Apply sprite editor. I could save myself a tiny bit of time by having another preset which is exactly the same but multiple. So what was this? 12 something. 12 by 12. Slice. Let's go to the right scene. No, not really. We didn't really want to save that, but never mind. Okay, the rocks kind of stand out a bit more, and they kind of blend in too much with the chimney smoke. So I think we can go with a slightly darker color for the rocks. But yeah, so let's go. Let's do the same thing. Create an empty called River Stones. And get our river stones, bring them in one by one so that it doesn't try and make an animation. Set them to scale 5. Rotate them 45 because they're like 3D objects, and then start placing them. And see how it kind of looks. And I guess we wouldn't want too many of these, like these would be a fairly rare occurrence. And we would want them on these kind of straights. I guess otherwise we would want like a sideways one. I guess we could rotate this as long as we rotate it exactly. We'll just rotate the sprite. Okay, I mean, my immediate thought is that the water should be like dancing around them. And then these guys, why does one of them appear to be like only half? And why can't I select it? Do I have to turn? Gizmos are on. Why can't I select? Oh, because that's on the actual thing. I see. Okay, so I should get rid of those on the map. So we'll go to just any one of these. Open up map background. And then go to here. And we want to just, I guess we actually just want to delete any instance of this color. Turn it blue. So we'd have a nice clean blank bit to work with there. They could be on another layer, but we can add that if we feel like we need it back. I'll close this because it's very memory intensive. Okay. I'm not convinced by these stones. I don't know if it's because I've just done them badly. Maybe they shouldn't be rotated. What if they weren't rotated? Does it then look better? I guess it adds some detail to the water. But yeah, so what do we want to do with these? I think we want them kind of like I don't know. So there's 3 versions. What if they were all like animating between the 3 versions? But not at the same speed. Like not And would these be moving? Oh. Like, this looks quite nice. So if the ripples... But then ripples don't do that. They kind of come down and then come up in different places. So it's like this one would... But I don't want to have to, like, animate each one. But maybe that's not the priority. So we'll unlink this. And then if we went, like... It's sort of doing that in various places, right? And maybe they're moving. So, like, one of these objects would have... like an animated bit of water there. So let's try that. So we wouldn't need all these prefabs. And it looks like I haven't used prefabs anyway, which is a mistake. So let's actually... Well, yeah, so then in that case, we'll go to map, prefabs, and we'll just get the first one. We'll delete the other two. And then we'll say... like I'm kind of thinking... Oh no, that's map Riverstones. What have I done? Ripples, and let's put them next to each other. So it's ripples 0. So ripples would go here, and maybe ripples would have an animation on it, and then I would just... Yeah, probably the best thing is just to use an animation and have the... like try and affect the start point. I think you can do that. I think you can do that in Unity. You can just say push the start point of, like, push this animation like 5 frames ahead and just randomize that for all of them so they're not all like synced up. Maybe they could like modify the speed, but generally the water ripples would all be moving in uniform with each other somewhat, you know. They'd all be the same speed, same direction. Just different locations. And so, yeah, let's animate this then. Assets, animations, map, ripples. I've been loving Pal World. I've been playing lots of that. That's really fun. I kind of just want to play Pal World, but I need to do at least some work today. Okay, so then if we animated this, so we go for, and let's say to start with every 4 frames, and then we can get a sense of it. And actually we're going to need our, so let's go into ripples. And we sort of actually... Like, let's imagine that we wanted to make something completely fresh. So let's imagine that we want it to start as like a dot and then turn into like pretty quick, not a long animation. Then it turns into a little, or maybe it would go like that. And I want it to kind of travel from left to right as it does that. So it will kind of start here. Maybe not travel that much. And then we kind of go to like... That would be like its final form. Although I kind of feel like there's already too many frames. So yeah, we would skip that one. And yeah, actually just have like this very small creep. And then it goes like straight from there to there. and then it can kind of like start to come down, I guess. So it would go like, should we turn on the animation? It's not much use. So like, yeah, it really starts life as just a tiny dot and then comes up. And then does that. Like it's kind of starting to recede, but it gets to spend a good time as a ripple. Okay, we should start this back here. Okay, it should never, so it should start down here. And then so yeah, quite quickly, so dot growth straight away into its shape, and then into its next shape, and then it can start to come down. Let's try that. Let's see how that works. That's 6 frames. There's not too many. Ripples, sprite editor. We'll do it automatic. No, we'll do it by cell size. 14 by 8, and the pivots at the bottom, I guess that's fine. Apply, and then this goes 0, 1, 2, record, 3, 4, 5, and then that looks nice, although I think it's a bit too fast. We could have that like at the end when everything's gone to shit. So we can actually, so this is actually one second cycle. Let's see how that looks. Yeah, so just one frame, a couple frames at each end for the life of the thing, and then we just need that to extend here. So we actually get to live out that frame. And I wonder if we could have even more movement. And then, but basically, if we just had a few of those like dotted around, but like I guess what I don't want is for them to, just stay static in the same place. Like it would be nice if it like somehow jumped around. So you could imagine, and would I do that in code? No, I think I should make, so this is a big mistake that I've made. I should have created an empty object, which is ripple. What have I done? There we go, ripple. And this lives in here, although actually what I can do is make a child object, yeah, create empty sprite renderer, and don't worry about the prefab just now. And then if we can, what I want to do is say, and I've always had trouble with this because I can, if it was a nested object, can I just grab these? And just, I don't know, like I just want the sprite renderer to do that. Because the thing is I can't change, like with a nested thing, so let's do with the sprite renderer. So we'll start, and so I guess we'll add component sprite renderer. And that would be and then we would basically just want the same animation, sadly. Look, like, so here I can grab that and then I could write something else, but here I can't do that. It's really annoying. So you should generally always use like nested things, like don't just take the sprite, like put the sprite renderer in a container, anything that's going to have animation on it. Okay, so yeah, we'll just do it again. That's going to be it's not going to be too difficult. So we're recording and we go 2, 3, 4, 5, 5. Did we get 5 here? Yeah, we did. And then so this one we can, so we remove these keyframes, and then we can remove the sprite renderer. And then I think we actually, that message is bothering me, so I'm going to fix the prefab. I'm just going to drag it over. So that's the new base of the prefab. It's like saving it. And so then what I want is like every time it completes an animation, basically to like jump somewhere new. Like within range. It's going to be awkward. But if we said it could go like I can make Unity check when an animation has looped. In code. Okay, I could do an animation event. So it would be like, yeah, whenever this animation runs, do a thing. Or, and I think that's probably going to be the wise thing to do, or I could set it to a timer that it like basically gets exactly, but if I get that slightly off by even a fraction, I mean, if it's exactly 1 second, or if it's exactly 2 seconds, which is probably about right. Then we could do like, I think like, because I should do animation events, but I can't be bothered. I don't like animation events. I find it clunky. How would we do it? It would be, it's like one of these. Add event. So there's an event. And then we can select a function that is on the game object. Is that how that works? Event. Animation event handler. So this is something I made with some help from Gemini and whatnot. Where we have on bounce, ready weapon, weapon flash. So these are bits of code that are tied to animation. So if we go public void ripple teleport ripple randomize location, and then we'll say transform dot get child 0 dot transform dot position dot local position equals new vector 3, and then it would be like random dot range, and we'll just do -1f, 1f, and then we'll get the values once we've made this. So comma that again. What y wouldn't change, but z would. And then how much can they move before it gets weird? So about point, not much, about 0.5. Wait. Y position shouldn't be moving. Ah, because it's that's rotated. But then, so if the local, if that's so, but if that's the local position, that's what I should be working with then. It should be 0 anyway, right? That should be the default. And so, yeah, we can move 0.5 in any direction before it gets weird. No, 0.5, wait, so this ends up just treating, because it's at 90 degrees. So y is 0.1 before it gets weird, but x, oh no, it's 0.05. So let's try 0.05 in each direction. I guess we'll do float. So we can change it easily. And then so I can dot a few of these around, and then basically I want to like check it out on the map, see how it looks. Because it might, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. And then we'll think about staggering the animation. Unity, advance, and animation, some frames. Animation.time. Well, we'll deal with that later. I just want the animations to not be all in sync with each other. Okay, let's make sure that's the prefab. I think actually for purposes of, so outside of the animator, we do just want it on its fattest frame so we can see it in all its glory. Okay, let's just have a look at that spot. Oh, and we want to skip through tutorial. Oh, what happened? Oh, okay, so it's asking for an animation, but then it's not doing. Yeah, so I didn't even bother with that. So let's go to the prefab. Well, I think it's if it's just animated, and so we've got this event. Where did I put the event? Here it is. So this event should happen at the end, and it can do ripple around it. So hopefully that works. Let's see. That should be fun to see. Kind of looked nice for a second. Yeah, I like that. But they really need to randomize the position. But the look is good, and the randomizing position is good. Although they all seem to move in unison. Is it just me, or are they all? Well, it's because they all appear to move to the left. But actually they are all going to random spots. Okay, that's good. And then what we need is something to make them start at different times. So I guess we'll make a script called animation randomizer. Yeah, that'll do. I don't know how many things that with a similar name we'll make, or with a similar function, but this could work. In theory, this could work for multiple things, but in practice, it's probably going to be just the odd thing. Well, actually, not necessarily. We could put it on the chimneys, for example, just to sort of make sure that they're not all popping off at the same time, which might be a nice detail. So Unity randomize the time on an animator clip. Okay, so it's very simple. Cycle offset, but that I want it to randomize, and I want to be able to do it in script. So if I just go we go. Let's see if that works. And I guess they could start anywhere between 1 and 0 and 2. Because I think it's like, because I can't draw very well, so I'm not going to make it look very impressive. So my cheat then, no, it didn't work. My cheat then is to to animate as many things as possible. So then it doesn't matter that it doesn't look that good. Okay, cycle offset. So we go animator, get component animator dot. So can we say animator dot clip? Let's get. Clip. But then how do I just want to like play. Okay, let's go with ChatGPT then. And say in Unity I want to make a code, make a script that makes the animation, that makes that clip on the objects animator to start at a random point. So then ChatGPT is giving me some answers. Okay. It's added this thing. Because basically, so then what it might be is this in combination with like not setting an entry state, basically. But apparently we could say update. What is animate? So that might do it. It might just be that. Or I might have to like break this entry point so that it starts by like not having anything, not having any animation on, basically. Or maybe even something crazy like Like I reckon if I like waited a bit, because I just think that the whatever I'm saying here is being overwritten, basically. Make sure it's even like, yeah, it's definitely happening. Ripples has this script. Animation randomizer. Apparently this, if the animation is already playing. What does that mean, state? This is some black magic that I don't understand. But if the animation is already playing, then yeah, we can start it at a random time. Let's give that a while then. And yeah, I think some of the issues might just be because this is happening in the start method and is basically being overwritten by what's happening in the animator window. Oh no, that worked. Okay, I mean, this is interesting. Feels slower than water is, right? But if it was to go at the real speed, because water's more like that. I guess on a calmer day. Like that. Oh god, I kind of want little cows to be like walking around and just seeing the birds and seeing like it's full of life, you know. Okay, so let's try whacking that on the chimney smoke. So houses, so prefabs, houses, chimney smoke, animation randomizer. I'll just copy that component. So it's probably easier just to add it. So if all of these have that on it, then it should randomize. Oh, what's wrong with that? So what, on the house, the animator isn't on the chimney smoke? Yeah, it is on the chimney smoke. So what's the problem? There is no animator on houses 2-1. Oh, I put it on the root object by accident. Okay. Silly me. Yep, that looks good. I do feel like the rocks, I need to like split the difference and make the rocks a bit darker. Maybe even darker than that. Hold on one sec. Can you hear a baby crying, you know? Babe, can you hear Phoenix crying? What? Can you hear Phoenix crying? Yes, no, babe. I was hanging clothes. Okay. No, I'm just checking. Let's have baby crying. Just make sure my wife's on the case. He does cry over like not very much most of the time. Yeah, so I think those rocks just being a bit darker and just being kind of separate from the chimney smoke. But yeah, it's sort of quite, it seems sort of quite alive. I don't know if the clouds are a bit too much. Maybe we could have just a bit fewer of them. Yeah, I think we could have a bit fewer clouds. So that's an easy handle. If we go into map, here we go, generate clouds. What we want is, let's say 40 to start with. But overall, I think this is looking quite good. Yeah, and the birds, it's all just nice touches. I think the stones do give a little bit of something, although it's kind of awkward when they're not like contoured to the river. But the water looks nice. So if I just copy that throughout the river, then we can say this job is done. We have made a river, which, you know, in some ways is quite a small achievement. In some ways, it's not that small at all. And I think, yeah, this frequency is good. Maybe even a little sparser than it is there. And I just need these all over the shop. And there'll probably be a few that need tweaking. Like they're in slightly the wrong place maybe, or they like the ripple ends up overlapping. I'm doing some work.
And what's that blue then?
That's the river. And I'm putting ripples in.
And I'm making a game.
I am. What happened there? Oh no! I've just been copying the sprite renderer. That's terrible. What a waste. Silly me. Have I been doing that this whole time?
What, Daddy?
Okay, I haven't been doing that this whole time. Good. Okay. The sprite renderer. Why is the position of the sprite renderer always like so off?
What happened? Why there no river now? Why did you make it no river? Come.
So this is fairly chill work. I wonder if I was like in a big studio, would I get an intern to do this for me or something? Just be like, look, just get in there and copy and paste that about, please, thank you. But at the same time, it's quite nice to have like a nice, easy task to relax to, you know? It gives my brain a bit of a chance to recover before moving on to the next mental task. This is a good spread. Yeah, we can always edit any parts that don't look right. Be harder to edit the whole thing to kind of give it a different shape overall, but I think, yeah, these kind of zigzag bits, because the position is randomized, so I don't have to worry about like this kind of track looking too uniform and not looking organic, because it will look organic. I just need to make sure they're well within the lines and that there's actually not too many of them, because this is a good number, this is a good frequency. Maybe players will like notice the pattern and be like, oh, I see what's happening there. That's not magical, but hopefully it would be like, oh, that water is like actually looks like water even though it's 2D. Hopefully that's going to be the outcome of all of this. That's going to be too close. Okay. And then I guess you would have them out here too, right? I'm not sure. But let's admire the full river now with the animation. So yeah, that one's too close to the edge. Sometimes it comes over. But actually, so far, like I'm pretty pleased with that. Like, I don't know if it's noisy or if it's just kind of like you're not, you've got these very simple pixel graphics, very low resolution, but it's animated, it's moving. There's still too many clouds. And I think that's what gives it its charm.
Is there too many clouds?
Well, yeah, there's a few too many clouds. Should I show you what it looks like with animated? You can see what Daddy does?
Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah? Okay. So we press play and then we go to the map.
What's the map?
There's a castle. You can see the houses with all the chimneys and all the trees. And all the chimneys have little smoke.
Is that fight?
That's a fight, yeah.
But can you enter that fight?
Not right now.
When?
Later. But look, I just did some water on the river and I think it looks quite pretty. I'm quite pleased with that.
Where's the snowman?
Snowman, because this is the map screen. But yeah, like that's water. I mean, there is a river. There's not much in this zone, but if there's a river, let's make the river look nice. Now I feel like having farms with little sheep moving around. Oh, I did want to check something. I wanted to get, I guess Google Images. Yeah, so I'm going to go, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to do it on the other screen. So we go Maps, Google Maps, sure, whatever. And then sure, whatever, go away. Switch to, no, what do I want? I don't use this very often.
I need to play.
Well, I'm making the game and I'm doing a bit of research now. How do I change?
What's that hard? What's that hard? What's the hard?
Those means like favorite places. Layers, there it is. Satellite to satellite. Okay. What? So I can have a look at.
Why are you saying satellite?
Because really, like these farms, they're different colours. That's kind of the main thing I was thinking of.
What's there a way there?
So farms actually have different kinds of colours. And they usually show up green even when they're yellow. And then you've got the really like yellowy farms, and they do indeed, like if you want it to look like a farm, it needs to have tram lines. But at this level of detail, I'm actually drawing out the tram lines. But as long as it's kind of got lines going across. And actually the shapes of the farms are much more sort of bendy. But then I guess that's because we're quite built up. But yeah, you do just have fields surrounded by little clumps of trees.
Do satellite.
Yeah, this is a satellite view. This is a view of England from above. So if I go way up north to where like I expect it to be a bit less built up.
No.
Yeah, like a lot of these fields should be green. Have fun, my boy.
Vamos a ver qué podemos hacer. Ven.
So when I'm doing these farms, if I could actually make their colour, so like we're gonna need to like make a new palette basically. But if I took this, made it more to the green side, and it's a shame that I can't like Piscal doesn't have the function to kind of like grab a colour in the same way. But I guess it wouldn't be that to like just because I just want that basically. Like I'm trying to get a sense of this, and I think this is fairly modern, so it would be like less built up in a more medieval time. But yeah, if I can just like if we imagine that these. Because yeah, it sort of ranges from like yellow to like, wait, what do we have? This one. To like a darker green. But is that matching our palette? Is what I'm thinking. Well, yeah, no, even more like a verdant green. Verdant green. That basically just means a more green. I don't know. I'm not good with colours. And then like if they sort of like they've all got to have tram lines. I think that's important. So it would actually be a bit where there's like a gap in colour. So if anything it would be like, yeah, just like a sort of paler bit. Or maybe even like road colour. Like dark road colour. Well, that doesn't quite feel right. I mean, I guess it kind of just looks like a darker bit within the thing, even though it's actually looking from directly above, it's brighter. But I guess what we're looking for is a sense of the gap more so than like visual accuracy, if that makes sense. So what happened here? Why can't I undo that? There we go. So like these would just all have little bits across. And I kind of, and if I'm, and it's something that I'm like fairly committed to, is that a lot of my games are going to kind of be like I like being English and being like, you know what, let's show off English, let's do English lore, English countryside, let's do Lord of the Rings, let's do farms, let's do cows, you know. I think that's like a fun vibe. And yeah, so so really tram lines like connect, or like there would be like an outline. I mean, maybe we ought to do more like bendy farms that sort of match the contours of the land, right? So it would be a bit more like, how would a farm look then? And yeah, we're just drawing on the same layer, although no, I want to do a farms layer. And I actually want to delete the farms that we have. And then it should be easier to like manage and edit them and like move and replace them and stuff. So we say like, so we're on the farms layer, we're going to get off black. We're just going to get the same black we have here. And we're going to start drawing farms on the farm layer. So we would like match the, so like, again, just looking at this. And it's amazing that I'm resorting to like, looking at things that I've seen 1,000 times to like having to actually check, because I should know it should be innate, right? But I think that is kind of one of the things, especially if you don't really know how to draw. Like you need to figure out what's obvious to an artist, you know. But yeah, so you might have a farm that would sort of match the contours of the natural road and match the contours of the adjacent foresty bit. And let's say you would build up a bit of land like that. And then let's do this properly. And then you would kind of divvy it up. And that's what a farm looks like. And it would have kind of almost organic, I mean, but it's not totally organic. It's based on like the farmer's decisions, you know, it's a different kind of organic. And then we would say like part of it would be this color. Oh, we just grabbed something invisible. So yeah, we'd say part of it would be this color. And I guess a couple parts of it would. Again, kind of trying to be organic, trying not to paint by numbers too much. You do have fields of the same color painted next to each other. And we might have a color that's like the more common color for a farm versus the less common yellow. I mean, a yellow farm is a wheat field, but we have other kinds of fields. And then, yeah, in kind of built up area, or like, you know, advanced farming civilization, the tree bits are like proper cramped in. So it's more like the trees move around the farms rather than the farms move around the trees. But yeah, you kind of have the range of color. And actually, if land is next to each other, it's more likely to be farming the same thing. So that you'd have like clumps of yellow and clumps of dark green and so on. So I wouldn't just wedge a yellow in between these. We would say this is a bit of like, you know, there's obviously something that grows well in this soil here. And that's what our farm should look like. And then we take this darker color. So we'll go back to layer one, this layer here. And we draw out, and actually I think it's easier if I I did that by hand, I should do this by hand. Yeah, just a bit of shading, kind of assuming that the light is coming from top left. So we just shade these sides of each farm a little bit. And then we do tram lines. That would kind of go to the edge, I guess. Yeah, because you can definitely imagine there's like space for a tractor, like just in the black there. So a tractor. I mean, I don't know. Like if I make it look like this, is this what a tractor farm looks like? Is that like a you know, like did medieval farms have tram lines? No, medieval farms did not have tram lines. So that's the 70s. So we're not going to have tram lines. That's nice because I don't want to do them. So like what would the medieval countryside, because it might be like medieval England landscapes, but yeah, is that, and yeah, would there be like a lot more wheat instead of other crops, you know? Yeah, just looking at pictures, but like these are all historic locations, but with the modern background still. But yeah, I don't think they so much had like yeah, so this, oh god, this is going to be a pain to delete. But yeah, I don't think they really had. This is going to be a pain in the ass. Can I actually use a big brush? I don't think. Yeah, so tram lines, no. But then would they have even had like square farms and shit? Like, can I overthink this, or does it just need to look like what it is? I mean, really, my reference here is the game Black and White. That's how I know what a farm looks like, and you just harvest grain from that farm. But then you think like maybe there should be an orchard. But then we're getting into detail where I'm like, I'm going to have to draw more shit. Because if we really want that detail, and actually to think of like, we're not just spamming farms about the place, we're saying, here's the wheat crop, and here's, you know. Or do we just kind of want these shapes about the place? Or are these shapes even benefiting at all? So you see the kind of chaotic thinking I get into. So we're going to copy this, delete it, paste it over into farms. And I kind of want to go back to seeing like this world without any farms in it, basically. So we'll copy that from here over to farms. Where we can then bring that back, and then if I 0.5 layer 1, so then I can see that this bit needs to go from farms. Anything with the road in it. And then bucket that to nothing. So yeah, what if I went ahead with this? So here we take, yeah, this can be full opacity, and so I have to like quite manually do all of these, so it's easier to actually reshade it. Just draw, give it the dark color, and then this is fine. Not too bad. Like, does that look better? Or like, yeah, should we, I mean, I feel like maybe just rethinking the farms entirely. So what if we switched, let's render farms as a separate layer. So map farms. And then let's render this as a separate layer, overwriting map background. Oh, and we need to get rid of the old farms that were here. How does it look with no farms? Oh, is that better? Like, is that better? Does this not bother with the farms? No, we should have a couple farms, right? I think the farms does look good. It's what you would see from the map, and it's like, that's what's there. Yeah, classic farms would be those like brown lines with like the walking space in between them. And I think we were just farming at a much less industrial level. Yeah, like this is the vibe I'm thinking of. Bloody, you can barely see it, but that, and you just got these kind of like dirty rows, you know. And I think the farms would have generally, like, rather than having these big cities versus these big farmy bits or like towns and stuff, you would have maybe I'm putting way too much thought into this. No one's gonna care. I guess I'm building up a skill set. It's not just for this game. Like, this game's a bit silly to care so much about the realism of the map. But I do think, like, what makes a nice map, and I think part of that is, does it make sense? Does it make sense in the world? Like, do all of these, like, does it make sense? Yeah, like, is this, okay, this is a little farming community. And yeah, we should definitely have the darker ground for the tree bits. And then I don't know if I can, like, paint the floor with other colours for, like, non-farmy bits or, like, hilly bits. I don't know, or maybe the solid colour is fine. But yeah, I can see a little farm existing here. So, and I think I should draw those, like, directly on the map. So let's start with this one, and this maybe this is a bit awkward. Like, I have to look at the spot. It would be nice to just draw it in, but otherwise I can look at this spot and again do it on the farms layer, so it's easy to shuffle around. Well, now that we have farms layer, so we go set that up, map farms. Set it up. This actually needs to be higher in this case. And apply. And then that goes directly on top of this layer. So we go map. No, that's just the whole thing. top of that we have map farms. And this is map of farms. And this would need to be on layer 0, I suppose. Okay, so yeah, so in this spot here, this should just be an open field. So to address that, I'll just grab, and it's sadly I can't grab this without grabbing some of that, which is unfortunate. But I'll do my best. So I'll grab that and just move it over somewhere random, doesn't matter at the moment. As long as it's not connected with another thing. Let's get it close enough, because it's not going to be in that spot anyway, so I might as well just discard this. But yeah, I definitely want... yeah, I should probably just discard this. Yeah, and it makes sense. Yes, okay, so that's fine. And then now we have to, like... I guess we'll be coming in and out of farms quite a lot. So today's stream wasn't about doing farms, by the way. That's kind of where we've ended up. Okay, so then this is here. And that's like a little field of battle. So like civilization kind of stops here. So we can do a bit more like farmland and stuff in that direction. But basically we should move on. And then let's say over here, I think perhaps these farms. We can go with this color. This color, just to sort of, actually, yeah, that's like a wheat field. But yeah, I guess more likely it would kind of be, there'd be more like circular, the farms. And maybe we imagine like a little ranch, and I think little ranches with cows walking around. Like I don't know if I'm getting too if I'm really going crazy here. Do we need cows? Right? Like that's the big question. It's like, okay, wait, hold on. Do we need cows? Give it. Stop and think about this for a second. Was that on the agenda, or am I just getting too into this? Like, I guess it's like because I can't draw. I want to have animated stuff, and I want to sort of make games about, you know, English fantasy, English folklore, and English world. So yeah, we've got hills, we've got little farms. This farm makes sense, but then yeah, you could definitely imagine a little ranch. Although I think like a medieval farm wasn't so square; it would have more rounded edges. But again, I'm kind of going off this little map that I found, which I quite liked, where they just kind of had a bunch of little square farms and it was nice. But then maybe this, yeah, it would just kind of match the contours of the map a bit more. So am I getting lost in the weeds? I think I am, yeah. We did river rocks. We did flowing water. I think we could have just a couple more river rocks. Not many more though, but it does add a nice bit of detail. And these aren't actually prefabs, but I think that's fine for this case, because this is actually probably all the ones that we're going to have. We don't need to worry about this too much. And then this guy was too close to the edge. We can just delete him. And then we've got a nice-ish looking river. I mean, it's, again, it doesn't look like, obviously it's not Picasso, but it's animated. That's the fun part. The little ripples move. So we can kind of start to plot out. Yeah, I'm just going to delete this farm. I need to be a bit more like, I'm not going to need that again. I can draw it again without much issue. It's not like I've shaded it. And maybe we could start to standardize a bit more with that. Because here is going to be the site of battle. So we've got mission 1, and this I should prefab. So, and we'll just put it in the map. Map prefabs, mission. Just in case I make any changes to that, they'll apply across all of them. So we would have mission 2 would be like over here, and I'm just going to get, again, I've got my Miro. Yeah, just coming back briefly to the farms thing. This is one that I like, and you see how they did the farms here, and I kind of like that. And then it's the minute I start questioning, like, hold on, would there be a farm by the beach there? A little square farm by the beach? Why? And like, are all the farms yellow? Why are all the farms yellow? I guess these ones aren't. The farms are all like in the towns, which again I think makes sense. I think medieval times you would have a little town and the farm would be like hanging off the side of it rather than being somewhere completely different. And then the other thing I'm looking at is where I've placed is this, where I've sort of started to like place missions on the map, and I want to just do that because then it's done, and we do the config for them and all that stuff. Mission 2 goes over there. So you do mission 1 is tutorial, so I need to bear that in mind. It's humans versus orcs over here. I guess we might let you replay the tutorial. Even though weird shit can happen, we can just kind of counteract that somehow. So let's just say that is the tutorial. I mean, that's a big point of like how we build this map. Like if the tutorial is part of the mission, and you can just do it again, and that counts as mission 1, versus, yeah, I mean, then you do humans versus orcs, and then orcs versus humans. And then if the tutorial existed, I guess it would be, it could just be somewhere else. So let's just ignore the tutorial. That's mission 1. That's mission 2. Humans fight the orcs. So I do actually need to, I guess I should just get rid of these numbers in mirror. So I'm just looking at this, where I've got my numbers, and every time one changes, I have to actually like shuffle the numbers because they're color coded. But if I just delete them, it's actually just easier. Or, I mean, there are ways to do this, but basically this is 0 now. So then we would have 1. Yeah, this would be 1. And because they're not spaced out properly, because I've separated them by like kind of act in a way, but we don't need to do that anymore. So yeah, I'll just tidy this up a bit, and then and then all of these should just be, they shouldn't have colors, so these are the ones I'm going to have to shuffle. And yes, I do this, I can kind of question this a bit, but yeah, that was the next thing on the list. We did river rocks, and we did flowing river, and I'm quite pleased with what we got there. Now the next thing on the list is to place the missions, because yeah, as we place the missions, it kind of helps inform us of like how we're going to have the land and like how much space we need for this and that. So now we've got 13 missions, or 13 story missions. So humans, Randar fights the orcs. That's a tutorial. I'm not going to show that here. Humans fight the orcs there. Orcs fight the humans there. And then you play as the orcs. And then humans fight the orcs at the rampart. So again, I kind of just need like space for this button. So like we would just move this hill then. Or delete it. But it's see, this button now sits nicely there. I mean, we might want a big old number there as well. But yeah, there's the story missions. You can replay them. It's kind of showing that a battle happened there, and it's showing how much fighting is happening in the land. But yeah, the part of the mission thing might be like a big number. It's part of the design. Then mission 4 is orcs fight the humans at the bridge, which can just sit. I guess we don't want to remove the bridge sprite, or the that we don't want to lose that graphic there. So that's mission 4. And then we go down to the crypt. So we've got 4 fights between the orcs and the humans, kind of spread out. Here's where they meet in the middle. Here's their sort of territory. And we'll have... So that's mission 4. And then we go down to... We get to the crypt, basically. So that's the human kind of side of the road. And then the orc side of the road. And I guess it's like where this we've entered the undead lands. And the mission takes place in a graveyard. In a crypt. Humans versus undead. Orcs versus undead. And really this whole story thing is just like, it's not meant to be too crazy. It's just something to like sink your teeth into, you know? It says mission 6. And then it's undead versus the orcs and undead versus the humans. So that'll be undead versus the orcs, undead versus the humans. So we see this is a big site of many battles. And a lot of this might change, but this is just going to be the first shape. And then if I make changes, I don't have to like do them immediately. I can just kind of log them and do them all at once. I'm not constantly shuffling numbers around and shit. Undead, I have put some thought into this. Undead versus humans versus orcs in the Scorched Lands. So we're going to call this the Scorched Lands. And where is the demon base is going to show up here. Like right between the other 3. So that space should be earmarked, and I guess I can put in bases. So we have all of our bases. Is that the same? No, we're going to want to just copy Ironwell 4 times. So it keeps all that config. Orc camp. And we've got graveyard. What do we call it? Like the Tomb of the Nameless. No, Tomb of Ranthar. But we'll just call it Graveyard for now. Tomb of Ranthar, I think. I said, yeah, maybe we stick with Tomb of the Nameless, but like Ranthar was there. He's remembered, he's known, but everyone else became nameless, basically. It's a bit sad, maybe. And then we have Demon Palace Tower. So then we just need to base is 0. As you can see, it sort of helps us to start to shape like what goes where. But since so I haven't drawn this, but I need to like just visually mark the space so I can remember that it's like that's where the demon tower is going to go. Just because that is exactly, and it's part of the magic, is that it's exactly in between the other 3 bases. Like there. I guess exactly in between would be, but like here is a good spot. It's close enough to like the middle. And that's actually like the center of the map. And you can kind of imagine this, I imagine this like epic moment where like we'll have a cutscene, we'll switch to the map and we'll see that tower come out. And then we'll see like, maybe I won't get this transition, we'll just do like a flash and then like there'll be a flash and the skies darken and everything goes all gnarly. And like the water starts animating quicker and then there's like gusts of winds. And I also want like, if you come down here, like, or any birds that spawn around here, like in the bottom hemisphere, should be bats. Although I don't know if you can tell the difference at this range. But yeah, you get the idea. Kind of like, it'll be fun to do stuff to this map. So let's carry on with the missions then. So now we know where the demon tower is. So this is the Scorched Lands. So we're not going to have farms here. We could have some like broken houses, like, but basically this land is battleground, and has been battleground for a while. So there's mission 8. And then yeah, Scorched Lands missions. So it would be like, and this is before the demons come, so it would be like outside the, like, but not too close. So humans versus orcs versus undead, humans and orcs all fight each other in the Scorched Land, and that's a big like 3-way battle, where the demons, which kind of causes the demons to appear, and it makes sense for it to be here. Humans, orcs, and undead all fighting each other over here, and then the demons versus all the others. So we're just going to have a whole lot of pieces here. The demons versus all the others. And then everyone fighting each other. Where the undead basically break off. So yeah, yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'm explaining the story well, but basically everyone kind of, it's like with your toys, just then these two fight, then these two fight, but then these two, and then now these two are fighting, and now these 3 are fighting, and now everyone fighting. It's basically, that's the story. So Scorched Lands. Oh, it'd be cool if like they're arranged in like a pentagram. Never mind. Orcs versus humans and undead and demons. Yeah, so let's get the numbers right. Mission 9. All the undead, orcs and humans are fighting, and then the demons appear. Mission 10. You now get to play as the demons. It's the only mission you get to play as the demons, and it happens like right next. I mean, you're fighting back, and the tower has appeared, and the fight takes place over here, and then you've got humans horrified by what Sean has become. Some humans attack the undead. Yeah, so this is for a brief moment the undead, because like they kind of end up joining the demons, so then we get like a big 2v2, humans and orcs versus demons and undead. And then undead versus demons. So then the undead decide to turn on the demons. Okay. So we really are just like throwing our toys together and saying, look at all these fun different categories of the fight you could have. So we've got this nice little quad there. And then the final mission, mission 13, would be at the demon tower itself. Basically, that means that this bit of the map is all kind of accounted for. That's human territory. This is undead territory. Scary black trees. I don't know, scarecrows, like not farms, but like more little graveyards. And then Auckland, like burning houses, totems, like areas where it looks like maybe there was a farm but it's been destroyed. Maybe a little dock town, just by putting some houses together and having a little dock. And then this area kind of just being like open plains with like fields and stuff, because this is the plains and the scorched lands, and it's kind of like the whole kind of battle takes place here, and we kind of visit each member's base a little bit. Obviously the undead, quite a lot of fights happen there, quite a lot of fights happen here outside the demon castle. The humans and orcs kind of not seeing the brunt of it in their own territories. I mean, none of this is the orc territory anyway. And so then we're going to end up with this big empty space here that we're kind of not using. Would be a good like empty spot for like some kind of DLC content potentially. We'll see. So yeah, kind of I guess like for me, narrative, like some people all their job is narrative design. For me, narrative design feels a bit like I'm slacking, to be honest. I feel like I'm just sitting here getting lost in the weeds thinking about world design for this, where that's not really where my head should be. It feels like I'm just kind of rambling, but this is it. These are our missions, and we have it set up so that when we, like, if I hide these or show them, like they should disappear when I enter the map. Let's do the configs for those. So we go missions, and at the moment there are 13 missions plus tutorial plus free play. So let's do this very simple bit of data entry now. Go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like so. Okay. Tutorial. Yeah, let's go ahead with it then. Okay, let's put free play in front of tutorials. Keep things kind of tidy fashion. And then we want mission 1 to be a stub. Like flavor. Just so I don't have a massive line to replace. And then the default will be Randar versus Corral. That's kind of the classic, and the reward and so on. But if I just make them, and then we can just change those features. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 13. Okay, and I guess the thing to do is to do a find and replace for the number. And that's going to change the reward. Is that wise? It's probably fine. Like, you just get more for each mission. I mean, I haven't balanced that anyway. Like, that's just a really random number. So yeah, very tedious, not very exciting work. So the missions exist. Then obviously I can change the configs for them. And yeah, talking about those like 3-way battles. We'll see. I mean, it might be fine because it's just for the story. So it's like, maybe it doesn't need to be balanced. Maybe you can't. Maybe you don't get points from it or something. I don't know. Maybe it will just work. I mean, it's one of those features that I did kind of think that would be really cool. If one of the things you could do in this game and anything you can do that separates your game from another game, or from other games of the genre, is probably a good idea and worth your effort and time. But like, yeah, if I could have 3-way, 4-way battles, which I don't see why not. I don't know if they'll be very well balanced, but if I could have 3-way and 4-way battles, or kind of 4v4, 2v2, 3v1, that kind of thing, I think that would be really fun. So yeah, that'll be good. I mean, we've kind of leaned more into like the versus thing, so like actually each, and like you're going to be fighting the enemy hero every 5 minutes when you're playing against them. So yeah, that should be good. Okay, well, I'm going to take my quick break. I'm going to finish a little bit before 4 today. And when I get back, what are we going to do when I get back? What are we going to do when I get back? Place missions and bases, we did that. Castle, we're going to do the castle flag flapping in the wind. And that's going to be fun. It's going to be very simple. I'm just going to take the flag off and replace it. I'm not going to actually animate the castle, because that makes things awkward. Alright, I'll be back in 5. following me? Okay. I'm not going to do this. This is too complicated. Because it will look weird when you're highlighting it. So fill out grassy area, little ranches with animals walking around. Yeah, I kind of want that.
Cariño, ven por favor. ¿No quieres melón? Estoy cortando el melón.
Oh,
Siren, ¿no quieres el melón?
don't know if you can hear the crying baby. Right. So yeah, then that ends up being our spread, and this is our interface. I guess one of the issues is being able to like identify which mission is which at a glance, right? So now that I've done this, now that I've put all the missions in, I'm kind of looking at it. I'm thinking like, how am I going to know which is which? Or is it like once you've done a story mission, like it just disappears and then you've got free play? Like, how's that going to look? How's that going to work? So it'll be like, it'll be pointing to the next mission. You scroll around. And like, yeah, you find the mission that you have to do, and then you click on it, and then you can click on the other ones, and it'll give you the information. So we need to have like the number on the mission, like, and maybe some information about who's fighting who. So like, so let's try some funky shit. Like, but that might be a bit noisy. I'm just thinking if we had like the characters, no, because then there'll just be characters all over the field. Or maybe if it's grayed out once it's done. So mission would have, and can I do that? Can I reduce saturation? Unity. I think there's some like sprite renderers. Unity modify saturation on sprite renderer. So, are there other sprite shaders? And if I look at the, like, this doesn't have any options for grayscale. Where did sprite's default go? And I can't mess with the grayscale. How do I make like a new material? Or do I do it here? Why can't I change that? Okay, so if I make like a new material, put it in the root assets folder for now. Seems very tidy. So material, and the material is sprites. Yeah, see, there's only diffuse and mask, and mask doesn't have grayscale either. Tint. No, I don't want the tint. So like I would have to make it white, so make the background of this white and then change the color. So that's kind of awkward. But just thinking about exactly what I want, like, but if I want that, I can have it. It's just going to take a few steps to get there. And then what would the mission show at a glance? I guess it can have number. So let's just experiment with... No, not UI. Why does it switch? Why does it switch when... Oh, because the font asset. Okay, that's weird. And then this would have to come... Extra settings, sort order and layer 2. And then that's like... That doesn't look great, does it? Oh, hey Jack, how's it going? I'm trying to think about how to make my mission icons look better. Okay, with the number there actually in the map, that doesn't look that bad. So yeah, number. And then if a mission, so when we make a mission, so we go map. We've got too many things open. Map. And then mission. Sort out missions. And then we will go trans.getChild 1 dot get component text mesh. I know this is a bit text mesh pro dot text equals m dot missions would have to have a number, or can I get sibling index of this mission? Yeah, trans dot get sibling index. And then I could like override that. Oh, textures, yeah. I don't know. Because I guess I've kind of ended up with the philosophy of like never buying things, like never buying textures. Yeah, and Blender's difficult. I hate the controls of Blender. I much prefer Maya personally. But then, yeah, I guess it's like I mean, I don't know what kind of textures are you looking for. Yeah, I find buying shit is hard. Like, it's expensive, and at the end of the day, like, it's gonna look better if you do it yourself. What's wrong with that? Oh, Dr. String. And then hopefully, and then I might need to like minus or plus one it or something, but we haven't got tutorial there. I guess we should have tutorial as a blank object, or we could have it at the end. But tutorial should hide. And I guess if tutorial's not included in the list anyway, then it just won't apply. Tutorial's a mission, but it doesn't have a relative marker, so so it might need to be +1. Let's give it a try. Yeah. I mean, some textures are free, or you can like get creative and use stuff that like exists, or like modify it where you can. Okay, so it does start at 0, so that's fine. We just go. And it should actually be hiding the ones that we can't do yet. Okay, yeah, we need to say unlocked equals false for all the missions. After 1 would actually be, I guess mission 1 would always be unlocked, because you can't even see that screen unless you've done the tutorial. Jesus. Oh god, dot unlocked. Okay, so it just needs to be dot unlocked. Yeah, 3D topology, like, it can get pretty gnarly. Like, generally you want to make objects as simple as possible and then kind of expand from there, rather than and like, yeah, just try and go as low poly as humanly possible. And that also restricts you, like, and then kind of work your way up to having higher poly models basically as you get better at it. It's kind of the same as pixel art, like you start with low resolution and you work your way up to a higher resolution. But yeah, this works. Just thinking about this like waving flag. Like, it would be fun if they like moved a little bit. So look at the water again, makes me happy. And the fact that it moves from left to right gives it this kind of flow. And kind of matches the wind. It's nice. Yeah, the clouds are really nice, aren't they? It's a simple thing, but it just adds texture and it kind of feels realistic. We've got birdies now, little chimneys with smoke, and the little water. Kind of like, yeah, that's what I spent the beginning of the session doing, and I'm happy with it. And like spent a bit of time thinking about how the farms are and stuff. But yeah, now that we've got our other missions, which we can see if we unpause, we can just see them. So as we build out our map, we can kind of build it with that in mind. So we just know that this area should just be like flat open land, but then every other bit needs to be kind of filled with stuff. I guess like that's a whole job. Okay, little ranches with animals walking around. Again, like, am I going too far with this? Like, I think what I'm going to do... And yeah, I mean, and then we can go further and we say, okay, let's do our scary trees and pop them around here. And let's do our... And spread our rocks around and do dark hills. So it'd be these hills, but in the other colour. Pop a few hills about. Pop a whole bunch of those dark trees about, because this would be like a forest. And kind of dot them in with some normal trees as well. And then kind of try and make it look like kind of scorched, battle-worn lands here. And then over here, I can probably get away with just doing like another big forest. So, I mean, I guess we can do things like that. I could just hop into that script, do the green floor, start copying and pasting more trees about, and just add these things as I think of them, as I see them, the docks. So let's actually make that list. So, map. Evil trees. Grave. I guess we've got gravestones in the graveyard there, but what if we had like more little graves? Evil trees might have like cobwebs on them sometimes. Dark hills. Burning houses. I'm still not sure about the farms, so I'm gonna like not make any notes about that. And then so those are like new assets, but also like add trees. Forest to west edge. Can we do more with the riverbank here? And like give it like brown, so it looks like a riverbank. You would almost definitely have like trees going almost all the way across the river, except where the bridge is. So like, yeah. Add forest around north of river. Guess this is kind of a separate category where I'm not making new things. The burning houses will need animation. Burnt out houses. So like ones that I've already burnt. Little dock and houses by coast. Or little fishing town. Yeah, with just like a little wooden pier, you know. Ripples in sea. Little fiery totems, orc totems. I do kind of like how Warcraft like continued the Tolkien thing and kind of like gave orcs a bit more identity than just kind of being like armored dickheads, you know, that they're actually like they do stuff. Like they you know, they have totems, they have like shamanic rituals and stuff. I like that. Yeah, the numbers look fine. I don't know if there should be like faction banners on each side, or it's just like it's just like a red battleground. It's like fight. And then you've got the number, and you can kind of relate the number to like which mission is which. It would be nice if, oh yeah, like that would be a nice thing to have. Little ranches with animals walking around is like, that might be going too far. So we'll like fill out the enemy areas and kind of put whatever details we can have there, and then maybe we'll come back to that. So we'll put that on like a third list of like things that we might do for the map. And then this is a little bug that I can fix. Go to the next previous mission when a mission is highlighted, yeah. And then, so this is a map thing as well. And then yeah, if I do that, then it will be filled out. But I do kind of want to pivot. I don't know. Is it just that I'm getting bored of doing map stuff? No, I think it is nice to kind of leave and come back. And the more pressing thing and the more cool thing that should be in the game is dealing with this horrendous white box of the base. So we're going to start on bases. So let's take this list. I will put this. This is like it's like a bug with a workaround, so it's not urgent. Evil trees, yeah, and then we go. So Tuesday's done for, basically. Got 1 hour left. Iron World drawing. Buildings, yeah. Okay, so then this is what we're going to do tomorrow. And then that's like down the line. So we can just quite easily say, I need to do buildings. I need to do... yeah, just each of the buildings. So I've got my Miro here with the buildings as I've laid them out, and we have put a fair bit of thought into it. So it's not like I've just randomly decided these. Like I've put them through the ringer of like actually what are the upgrades going to look like, and we have our upgrade trees here designed, at least the first draft. And so I need to draw each of these buildings. You know, we got farms there as a maybe, but like if we just wanted to put like some statty stuff, like just to have more stuff to spend money on, more gold sinks, you know. But for now we can say church. Would it be good to start with the castle? Castle. And this is like a whole new resolution, whole new like drawing style, me drawing buildings. In each case, I'm probably going to try and find like a reference that I can kind of copy one-to-one. Just because, or at least, you know, I'm going to be doing a lot of research. So this is going to take at least the rest of the week, I think, to draw these. But it needs to be done. And once it's done, it's bloody done. I don't like drawing, but we'll have this done. Okay, church. And I'm going to have it in this list here, so it's like, I know I've got it here already, but it's like, this is what I need to engage with tomorrow. It's not easy. Castle, church, barracks, and we'll just do it from left to right. Tavern, market, wizard, tower. I guess it will be a wizard and witch tower. That's probably going to be the best way to do it. But I like the idea of it being this kind of like, it's a tower with a hut next to it, and they both got kind of hats, you know, how wizard towers look. And then they kind of, and I'm going to make the top of the hat look almost exactly like the hat on the character, just the exact same like quirks in the shape. And then as they get bigger, they kind of like grow in unison. But they're basically part of the same building, and yeah, you kind of yeah, there's a shape to it. Maybe I could have had them as completely separate buildings, but I did like the dependencies that they had on each other. And I didn't want to have dependencies between these skill trees. Like, that just gets too complicated. So yeah, we're kind of plotting them together, even though it's going to kind of feel like there's two buildings. And the blacksmith. And so I need to figure out get the right resolution first. And then we're also going to need gate, which aren't buildings, but they are going to be part of it. And then, like, yeah, space for the farm. So it's going to be a whole thing. We have to kind of draw a whole new scene, basically. A whole new set of sprites. But as long as it's kind of consistent with what I've been doing so far, it should be nice. And that's going to be just a big fucking huge one off the list. And once that one's off the list, I can really start to hack away at these, and then we're kind of almost there. Like, we're really close. The missions don't require a lot, but you know, I'll have fun doing those. I want to do everything outside of actually coding each point in the story. And then if something needs to change, I can just kind of creatively change it, you know. Like if oh no, all the battles are going to happen here instead because of something I've added there. Okay, then we can make that work. And yeah, like, I put a lot of effort into this map so far, and I think it kind of shows, and I think players will appreciate it, like maybe unconsciously. So that's Wednesday, and we're going to start on that, and we'll come back to the map later, and then we've got loads of things to do still. And then we've got a bit of coding, got more like we can do for balancing, but we know these core things to be true. So yeah, lots and lots to do. All right, I'm going to leave it there. So thanks everyone for joining. Really appreciate it. Got a new subscriber yesterday, which made my day. So thanks for that. And I will be back, I think tomorrow morning. We'll see. Maybe tomorrow afternoon. So cheers. Have a good one. And see you later. Bye.